All right, well, take a look at second wind. I gotta say, immediately going, not sure if agree. Again, McCree's been one of those things where, okay, it has worked from time to time, but do you really want to use it here? I mean, yeah, universities where you would pull out a McCree, but it just hasn't had the best track record with how people have been playing. Faro's also kind of hit or miss on University, so we'll see how it goes, but I do like L&L's comp better than second wins here.
Yeah, I mean, this is something still we are familiar to seeing, especially on University, either the Farah Hanzo or the Farah McCree, and it's honestly just down to Shadows' positioning. Will he be able to stay out there?
No, no, he won't.
No,
the answer is no. He's going to eat 2 rockets and he's going to die. Oh, that's sad. That was like slow motion. It's like, yeah. I know you're gonna fall. It's just, we had such an early warning system. Sugar Free is absolutely annihilating second wind right now. Shadows picks him out of the sky finally, but he's gonna get brought back up.
Well, the thing about early warning systems is that you can't really do anything about the oncoming onslaught, right? If a tornado is coming, it's coming, and you just have to try and like mitigate the damage, which is what second wind are trying to do, but they might actually just give themselves up and stagger even further. That's why Shadows got tagged again. That's
why you have a basement, unless you're in Florida, where if you somehow have a tornado in Florida, you're probably doomed. So, Sugar Free about to have a early barrage up here, looking to his Farah counterpart, takes a lot of damage at Shadows, adds on the finishing touch. So, even with the McCree, able to pull things back the other way, only 21% to L&L, but Zaxel got picked off. L&L, considering the continue poking through here. They're down Dogman, though, so it's not going to be super easy, but they're just going to rotate around.
They can still rely upon Sugar Free getting some picks here, but there we go, a hook, and Zaxel is taken out by Next. And so now with the Farah gone, no resurrections in play, L&L, they've got the manpower. They're gonna start slowly pushing forward. Here comes the Deadeye, but everyone breaks LOS.
Yeah.
Shadows shouldn't be able to get anything off of it.
Deadeye has been reduced to, in many cases, a have enemies go away for 2 seconds. By the way, while you're looking at the front, might have been wanting to look at the back as Sugar Free comes in, surprise with the barrage, and that's a good Deadeye. Immediately, it's Enlair making the McCree work on the other end.
Yeah, Enlair, he was one of the very crucial parts for L&L's victory last week. We said that if they were going to beat the Legion, they needed both Sugar Free and Enlair to really show up, and there we go. He's already made an impact in this game so far, and now again, it's coming down to barrages, lots of explosives. We'll see if Zaxel can find the opening he needs to try and crack open this fight with that barrage.
You know, if both teams are playing McCree, that means McCree is going to win. It's just simple math at that point, but Moopy already taken out pretty low. To back out just a bit. Barrage was right for Zaxel, but immediately taken down by Enlair. And that was just a rough position to approach from as a fair anyways. I don't think there was many good outs there as L&L continues to hold.
Now L&L, with a great stagger onto Moopy and to Flubby. That is huge. That's going to give them an extra 10% at least onto the point. Stagger onto Suppose. What are you doing there? You cannot disrespect the Kree.
That was ridiculous. I mean, by the way, this is pre-fall changes. That was like post-fall off. That Mercy's dead way earlier, but Enlair's just like, blink, 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 gone, finally. Burst on through.
Basically trying to shoot down a plane with a BB gun, but he still did it. Enough shots, threw enough damage there. Already they are getting tagged as they come in. Tainu now, Deadeye comes out from Enlair. Zaxel Enlair with the flick of the wrist takes out Zaxel with that Deadeye now, and still the man advantage, a 3-man advantage for L&L.
Zaxel just got dumpstered on the other end. The Transcend kept Enlair alive just enough to take him down. Second wind on their last hope right now, but this has been nothing but dominant from L&L here so far. Overtime's getting ticked down, and that's going to be round 1 going to L&L.
Second wind did have a moment where they looked like they were in a great position, but of course, just the burst damage coming out from the tree, you got to be careful. And the hook, that hook from Nex to take out Zaxel completely changed the trajectory of a very crucial fight for second wind as they were trying to keep themselves on the points. And now, as we move on to our second point here on Oasis, it is going to be, once again, Garden. We'll see L&L currently, Sugar Free hovering over that Brigitte. So he's going to try and create a lot of space for Enlair here. That's what this triple support composition really does excel at, especially when you have a Soldier 76 who wants to be able to just kind of stand there and get consistent damage across. But Shadows is now on that Widowmaker. We'll see if he can be the difference maker for second wind.
Also, I gotta say, going to production, if Enlair's never give up, never surrender, keep shooting at Mercy with the creep from mile away is on the highlight reel, I will be slightly tilted and eat all the food. Also, I'm going to eat all the food anyways. It's fine, as Enlair immediately gets Fluffy on the the other end. And one good pick off deserves another. He's going to find himself getting domed pretty quickly. Second win, fighting on back, but Sugar Free's so low and yet brought back up. The power of Brigida here after healing the other way. LNL not out of it here just yet, but they do give up first control the second win.
But they're going to get a great stagger onto Flubby here, who is just trying to get back with this team. And that was the great thing about what LNL did. They got the pick off, and then they were able to just cover that resurrection. Somehow Sugar Free stayed alive throughout all that, but now it might be Ajax who falls. He does have to amp it up, keeping him alive for now, but as it ends, he will fall to Zaxel. And it is just all second win now here on the kill feed. Sugar Free does take out Suppose as Decon takes out Shadow, so now they are scrapping back into this.
Sugar Free trying to make the most of the Brigids. Dogman off on the side, deals with the Diva. Decon might be out of the fight. Endlair in some tough ropes there, ends up getting pummeled by Winston. And Sugar Free still somehow alive here on the Brigida on the point. Rally is all set up, and it's actually Sugar Free and Dogman starting to pull this one back. Ajax even getting into the fray. And they might not even have to use the Rally as they do get control.
Triple support. That's a lot of healing. It's difficult to kill, especially as a Winston in Primal Rage. It's not consistent enough damage to really try and deal with it. And so now, as LNL have been able to take over the point again, it's at 60%. Rally's coming out from both sides now. They jump on in Shadows, though. Here on the left-hand side with that Widowmaker. And Lair is doing a good job of not peeking his head quite yet. It's Zaxel taking out Decon. 3 members of LNL already gone, and now second win. Be able to take the point back just as quickly.
LNL come back the other way, and yep. Oh, you're gonna have Lair down right away as Moopy goes back the other end. Second win, gonna come right back onto the point.
So 36 to 47% now as Moopy gets a great stagger onto Nex, who honestly was looking to just get his mech back. But it's Shadows who's been really applying pressure with this Widowmaker. Whether or not he's getting those kills, you have to be wary and cognizant of the Widowmaker positioning. And that's why we got to see Lair was just caught out behind the post. He wasn't able to join up this team and get the consistent damage you want with that Soldier 76. So now he's going to go more mobile and swap off onto that Tracer as Zaxel shuts him down. But a great Primal.
He's out of the fight immediately. Decon, meanwhile, Primal Rage looking to boot people off. LNL fighting their way back into the point. Won't be enough. Decon certainly thinks so. Moving over, chasing down Shadows, stomps him right over, give him the 1-up. And LNL just a little bit away from flipping this back the other way.
Transcendence is used by Dogman there to top everyone off. They just want to finish this fight off strong. Lair almost booped off himself, but it's all just LNL here. Sugar Free did fall, but right now, Moopy with that Primal Rage just feeding over Ultimate Charge. Luckily, second win, we'll be able to delay this out to 96%, and so now they just need one good team fight win here, but this is Garden. Very rarely do you get one good team fight win.
All right, 50%, and yeah, I mean, Garden is not the easiest to grab cleanly, to say the least. It's gonna be a pretty quick rally here from Sugar Free. Doesn't even wait for things to fully get involved. But one rally's gonna deserve another. Zaxel, 96%, still able to get the rally up. Meanwhile, his team taking damage from all ends. Zaxel finally gonna get the rally off, and it will be in time. Suppose was almost down, ends up finding Ajax on the other end. LNL a bit on the back foot, down one, looking for a way back into the fight. Self-destruct, come on in. Meanwhile, LNL still struggling here on the ground, but all the while gaining progress.
They are gaining progress, but you have to remember that second wind is sitting at 96%. So LNL have to have someone on the backswing, on the wings there. Lair with the pulse bomb is able to take out Moopy, but it's the Coalescence coming out. Flubby, though, not getting enough damage across, not getting enough healing. He will fall. Ajax takes him out, and so LNL are able to fight back into this.
LNL coming right back on in. Second wind struggling to stay in, drops the berry the other side. Meanwhile, look to Lair off on the right side. Going over, looking for Zenyatta. Meanwhile, it's not quite enough. Second wind still gaining momentum. Sugar Free out of the fight. They don't have to worry about it quite as much anymore, but Lair still going in deep. Gets Shadows, looking for more. Off to the right side. Moves on out of the fight, still very much alive, looking for the health pack. Back on the other end. It's all about delay right now, but it's Zaxel, doesn't care. Deals with both tanks. The point goes back the way of the second wind, and now it's LNL on the hot seat.
Another pulse bomb, but Moopy survives that time. And now it's all just down to the Tracer, who gets solo shattered. And Moopy is able to come up with 2 with that Fire Strike. They'll keep second wind in this. 100 to 99%, 1-1 here on Oasis. We're gonna be going over to City Center to square this up.
It has been back and forth all the way. and we will see now where this goes.
Now, LNL, this is the big test for them, right? This is the victory that they need up against Second Wind to really put themselves in contention for playoffs. And what a high that would be for LNL to ride, that kind of momentum, getting their first victory, especially up against Legion, and then putting themselves within reach of the playoffs within 2 short weeks. LNL, a lot riding on the line for them. Second Wind, though, they have absolutely nothing to lose here.
Second Wind, as you mentioned, they have nothing to lose, but they have a lot to gain in terms of reputation, where, of course, players know that this is one of the last 2 times they can show their stuff here in Contenders. We'll see what Shadows does here. Back the other way. Again, just looking for early pickoffs. Not finding too much in the way of that here yet. LNL rotating around the right side, gonna taking the fight directly to Second Wind, but they back out. Ajax didn't get the memo, just bopped on down by Shadows. Shadows, though, ends up falling. Lair comes in from the other side, and LNL still finds a way in, but they don't have control just yet.
Yeah, Moopy did fall ultimately to Decon there, and finally the cleanup is coming out from LNL. Can they do it fast enough? Second Wind trying their best to delay here. Now both teams are running that triple support composition, the 3-2-1 now, where you have the triple support, 2 tanks, and then the solo DPS. I feel like that still might not be the best look for LNL. You know, if they just play standard 2-2-2 and allow Sugar Free to try and carry, but maybe they really do respect the pick of the Brigitte coming out from Second Wind here. Now, a Second Wind come on in. We do have Shadows. He uses that infosight, gives them so much valuable information as they try to push in, but they are being controlled. They have to be careful. Sugar Free's gonna go ahead and use that rally as they go into this fight.
Rally is up, Flubby is down. Ajax, though, ends up falling for that sneaky Lucio attack to the backline. Lair, meanwhile, back at the other end. Pulse Bomb, holding up right now. Ends up getting Supposed, chases him down. Second Wind, unable to get a pierce through on this fight. Back to the drawing board for them.
These last 2 weeks, Lair has really been stepping it up for his team, while before we expected just Sugar Free to carry it. But now, this week, he's on the Tracer. He's doing a fantastic job here on this point. Sugar Free doesn't have to carry as much, he just needs to enable Lair, while Shadows has a lot on his plate, especially with this Widowmaker. It's so difficult to kill. Anyone here? There's so much mobility to jump in, then Lair takes out Shadows with that Pulse Bomb.
And that's what you want for an early opening. Second Wind, they might have invested the rally, but it does not matter. You're down 2 players, and we just see LNL again going through to the back line and just easily dealing with it, and Second Wind decides, we're gonna play in some traffic.
Sugar Free just waving to his Contenders compatriots there, realizing they played in traffic. That was fun to watch. But now, LNL are almost in that 1-fight territory. If they could just win 1 more, they'll be walking away with this map victory, putting themselves that much closer to that 2-2 score record. Sugar Free comes in with the shield bash, tries to control Moopy as Suppose uses that sound barrier early.
Look at Sugar Free, not taking any damage here whatsoever. What damage he does take is healed back up, soon to get rally. Dogman, though, is super low, unable to escape. Moopy finishes him off. And of course, there's no mercy in play for LNL, but they're able to even the score a little bit. However, they're gonna barrier with only 4 back up. They're on the back foot. It's out up to Lair, working around the sides. D-Mex the Diva and finishes him off. Now Respawn's coming in for LNL, and they might be stopping Second Wind's last surge.
They were able to flip it in time, where Second Wind, as LNL were chasing after those kills. So this is crucial stall coming out for them. This is gonna buy time for everyone else to come back in. Flubby, though, is still all the way back at spawn on that Zenyatta. Zaxel gets focused down by Sugar Free, and now this might spell defeat for Second Wind, as Lair is still just opening up on the rest of the team.
He's doing quite enough work right now, going for another D-Mex. Sugar Free, back up, Hardy and Hale, back on the other way. The tanks are down for Second Wind, and that is the end of their reinforcements. LNL gonna make it a clean victory here on Oasis.
Tracer after my own heart, my goodness. Was he on fire like the entire time?
He was doing very well, and also, I mean, credit where credit's due on the other end, where we've seen a lot of DPS players swap to Brigitte and do very little. It's not always been the best swaps for people. Sugar Free made the swap to Brigitte work way better than anyone we've seen here today. I mean, it's like night and day when you compare it to, say, earlier in the day where Fisher tried the swap to Brigitte and wasn't anywhere near as effective.
Yeah, there are priority targets you want to take out, especially as a Brigitte. One of them being the opposing main tank, and then also, of course, if there's a relative mirror composition, shutting down the opposing Brigitte, and he was doing both, taking out both Moopy along with Zaxel. Zaxel really didn't have that much of an impact, as much of an impact as Sugar Free did when they were both playing the Brigitte.
I think that it was impressive play from both teams. It wasn't a complete wipe, but just that combination of Sugar Free and Lair. We've seen Lair grow this past 4 weeks now. We're in 4 weeks, and it's been a joy to watch. And also that McCree play, as you said, if that replay wasn't in there, you would eat everybody's food. Taking out a Mercy, just a BB gun versus a plane, but the BB gun won.
Yeah, no, that threat wasn't really super great because I said I'd be carrying it out no matter what. But, you know, really, I mean, seeing him just consistently lay in damage as McCree, where usually it's like, okay, you just let it go, and here we go.
There it is.
Thank you.
Their food is still not safe.
No, it's absolutely not.
You just gotta hide, but instead they continually to get staggered here. Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4. And he goes.
And down it. You would think that as a McCree, you just give up after the first 5 shots against a Mercy, but you know what? He kept going, and it paid
Persistence.
off.
Persistence.
Yeah.
And then next patch, of course, it's going to be a lot easier. Well, next patch is live now, so you get to enjoy the greatness of a newly buffed McCree. That can...
Wrecking Ball? Oh, yeah.
Actually, the cool thing about the change being live now is that McCree's going to be a lot better at challenging Widows. Like, it's not a favorable setup for him, but it also means that the Widow can get hit maybe 2 or 3 times as opposed to living like through 8 hits from long range. Yeah. So it's a little better.
I'm just thinking, you said newly buffed McCree, but that doesn't mean it's a buffer McCree, so that kind of makes me sad. That's what I want to see, is just a McCree busting out of his shirt.
You want to see him just rip his shirt out of his leg.
Whenever he ults, his shirt just pops off. That's what I want to see.
Bench.
Oh, God. Well, our next map we will be seeing is King's Row. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be seeing a buff McCree on this map, but what will we be seeing from each team?
I don't know. All I can think about now is like buff McCree.
Yes! I've infiltrated your mind with buff McCree. My job here is done.
Let me take your mind off of that half of the ship and bring you into the other half, which is Wub coming in with the Genji.
Yes! You've done it. You've done it. First we had Moisey today. Now we're doing McCree and Genji. This is great.
It's also a little bit weird for second win where I've never quite understood the entire, it's like, we're only going to play Zaxel on control, and then we're only going to play Wub on everything else. Just like, I don't really get it, but probably going to be seeing Wub.
Yeah? You're excited to see Wub? Excited to see some sweet play?
His Genji's been super good, so yeah, let's see it. Not quite as Sugar Free, though.
Yeah, and particularly here on King's Row, though. It's been very consistent, and he is the can opener that breaks open point A for second wind.
So, predictions?
Oh, it's totally going to be LNL.
Yeah. I'll sing praises over to second win, but LNL still have the tools just to win this out.
This doesn't seem close to me. And now we said that, watch second win take the map because apparently the inverse prediction power is real.
Well, let's see if the inverse prediction power is real or if they're psychics.
You know what? Normally I'd say, like, you know, psychic is a more pristine phrase, but I remember all the sort of, like, infomercials in the 90s where, you know, eventually all these people went to jail, but for a time they were seen as psychics, and people paid a lot of money to the 1-900 number. So you know what, Jamerson? We're psychics. Let's start up a 1-900 number company, and then let's try to avoid going to prison.
I'm pretty sure people do still have those. It's just we're not as privy to it because we're too busy watching, you know, Twitch streams and such. So you don't get the infomercial commercials yet. Okay. We'll see how future broadcast deals work out. But second win versus LNL. LNL, 2 maps away from securing, you know, that almost berth into the playoffs here. And they're on the offense, and they're just going to go for full all-out dive up against second win's defense.
Nothing too surprising here, particularly Sugar Free coming up on the Genji. LNL, I mean, this is what they've run all season long, and they're pretty competent at King's Row. Nice deflect by Sugar Free. Why are you even going for the Fire Strike there either is my question. You know, you could go for the clump of people, or you could go for the one that's going to reflect it back. I mean, yeah, either can just end it up, so it's probably the answer there. Either way, another deflection coming up.
Wub actually takes out Dogman there, and so now they lost one of their supports. It's going to be very difficult to try and fight back into this. Shadows, free reign with the Widowmaker, getting some shots off. Can't connect up to the Mercy. There it is, the headshot, taking out Ajax.
Sugar Free, though, has been doing work on the other side. He finally got the Flubby, now looking for more. Shadows, been under pressure. Gonna be going back over to point. We go back on high ground. Yeah, he's gonna do just that, of course. Infosight, almost up. Goes up and sees, that's a Winston. Time to back away. Moving over to the right, keeping good eye on where Sugar Free is. Again, looking for Hotel. Knows the Flex is off cooldown, looking for the Genji on the other side. His teammates in his way, can't even get a quick shot. And Moopy just goes, I got you. Smash Sugar Free into the side.
That was the quickest charge I've seen as Moopy takes out 2 now. And so the defense are going to be able to reestablish themselves here, suppose, bringing Shadows back into this fight now. As Lair just all the way over at the opposing spawn, but there's not going to be anything for him to try and pick off here. We'll see if he can get up to the high ground to try and contest Shadows, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get there, as right now Shadows is on the hunt for him.
Shadows gonna hold up top here. Second wind been looking way better here on the defense, but now the time for reckoning may be upon them. Ultimately up for LNL. Early post bomb from Lair does not quite connect. See Lair back on the other side. Dogman though takes 2, and that might be enough. Can't res up all that damage. And by the way, even though we've resed up part of it, there's a blade. What? Whoa! Did it? Left click in time. Did not left click in time. Second wind doubles down, and I gotta tell you, in this day and age, doubles down usually not the best response. Earth Shatter, knock Sugar Free right on his butt, but the fall through not there. We're gonna see Reinhardt take it for a ride, and LNL gonna slowly but surely start moving this back over.
Yeah, double down, not the best response sometimes, but also a very delicious sandwich. But now Decod is able to focus down Shadows, who was stuck in the corner there. Finally, LNL will be able to secure a second tick, find another frag onto Wub. And second winner just gonna have to give up the first points, but they did delay a good amount. So as we move on to the second phase, LNL are down to 3 minutes.
Swap your heroes, swap them.
They gotta go for that Reinhardt. They just have to, especially moving on to the Streets phase.
Actually, I thought they'd swap a little bit more. Sugar Free gonna stand the Genji. Oftentimes you will see him swap at this point. So. Okay, yeah, you're just slow at swapping. That's what's going on here. Yeah, you go to Hanzo. That's more what I expected.
No, he's not going to have the Wombo. Of course, the Space Dragon combination with the Graviton Surge, as Nex is still holding on to that defense. Why not? He's got the self-destruct. We've seen some crazy self-destruct, especially in this phase. This portion of the map of King's Row. Second wouldn't have to be careful. Oh, Fluffy should have been more careful there. Self-destruct is going to come on out, but a lot of mobility.
You got the Horn of Gondar in some games, but that time you just had full Legolas. Sugar Free surfing up the top, got the early pick up. Dogman falling through, 3 kills, make it 4 for Dogman. Orbs for everyone. You have an orb, you have an orb. It's on a car, it's way more painful.
Dogman still reliving his glory days as a DPS, and he doesn't want to give it up, but hey man, his Zenyatta has really been on the up and up. I know he's had a good Zenyatta, he just hasn't been able to show it off now, but in these last 2 weeks, he has really been fragging for his team.
Oh, push him back! Push them all back, Decod! Yeah, Decod's like, no, you don't get the charge to that point and make a terrible mistake. Well, why? Yeah, it's like, okay, you've stopped them after they've gotten point B. Great. That's a win for LNL.
That is definitely a win for LNL. Now they don't have to worry about that. Janitor might be able to get up that Graviton Surge in time for the next fight. And they do have the Space Dragon, but Sugar Free sends out his. He connects. Poopy's gone.
Poopy had nowhere to go. He's like, team. Well, he's out. Shadows. I mean, it actually worked. He got the support from Zarya to get on out. The issue is, of course, that you're going to get the res back on up. Suppose out of the fight. Next, feeling awfully charged up. Lair on the Widow on the top, doing even more. LNL now making their way back on in. The follow through is there, and second wind is getting pushed right on back.
What a beautiful 3-man Earth Shatter coming out from Decod there. A lot of it was covered by Flubby's Transcendence, but it just was not enough. And so now, after using that, Flubby trying to make up his mind, will go back over to the Zenyatta here. But LNL, they're gonna be able to maybe snowball in.
Graviton in.
Surge.
Yeah, it's just trying to make the most of it. Dragon from the right side. But it doesn't do quite as much damage as they would have liked. LNL still very much fighting. Yeah, touch payload! Touch the payload! Oh! All right, well, that could have been held for longer for second wind. But there comes a point where you remember the basics, and the basics involve getting on the payload.
Yeah, it's an objective. It's an important objective, important enough for OWL to have their openings for how each map works, and, it usually starts off with stay on the payload. Just stay on the payload.
I mean, it was in the opening parts here where, welcome, this is Overwatch.
Yeah.
Part of Overwatch is pushing the payload. The other team can test the payload, except when they don't.
And the other part of Overwatch is that if you complete out the time, or complete out the map with an abundance of time, that's added onto your time bank. So now LNL, they're gonna be left with 2 minutes and 47 seconds left on their clock. So now moving on to the defense, we're going to see a lot more of this. It looks like it's going to be the 3-2-1 composition. So, I think it's time we blow the scene as we get everybody together and their stuff together. So 3-2-1, it's going to be the composition coming out from LNL here. As Second Wind, will they be going for a similar composition? It looks like they're going to stick with the 2 support, 2 tanks, and of course 2 DPS. Tale as old as time here in Overwatch.
Hello, I'm ZP, your weatherman right now, and I can report to you this day that there's not going to be any goats right now. There is a 20% chance of goats later in the map, oftentimes if a team does end up running some trouble, but if you're heading outside today, you won't have to worry about a goat getting in your path in the least.
Typical meteorologist, just getting it all wrong. We can never trust you. All right, weathermen are the reason why I have trust issues, ZP.
Weathermen are the reason. It's like one of the most secure jobs. You don't have to be right.
You don't have to be right, yeah.
You don't have to be right at all. You're just like, hey, I'm right here every day. Look at me, gesture to the map, and if I'm right, who cares? It's the weather.
You can have a prediction rate lower than Overwatch casters, and you'd still be in a job, so like it's great for them. But now Second Wind, there we go. It looks like it's going to be a D.Va Rein for them, as they want to play a bit more defensive here, so they're not going to try and utilize the Zarya, which it's so good for point A, but instead they're going to try and create a little bit more space for Moopy with the defense matrix.
He just shot that defense matrix for no particular reason, by the way. I don't even think he really had a clean shot in the head, but I think go for it, I suppose. Bub, again, rotating to the back. This is where you see Genji's go. This is where you see D.Va. Go back that up. A little bit of 1-on-2 here. Wub and his D.Va going the other way. Meanwhile, by the way, Sugar Free doesn't care. Eliminates the back line. And Second Wind's already out of this fight.
Hey, Wub got Ajax though, but still that's not going to be enough. I mean, the run back distance for the defense, not terrible. And of course, you're going to have someone in the window to try and taxi the Mercy back. And so Second Wind, their first attack deflected easily by LNL here. And take a look at all that ultimate charge that Ajax will be able to build off of from both Nex and DCOD.
Someone gonna heal Nex.
Eventually. You got DCOD up, and now
you gotta wait for Ajax to get back in. But that's a little bit rough. It's just like, health packs, you don't do enough. Meanwhile, Dragon's right. Going over the other side. Lair, though, immediately removed by Wub. Wub, right in the face of that D.Va, dashed on through. Close to a blade, 18 HP, 8 HP, and dead.
And meanwhile, Dogman about to pick up a triple kill there. Oh, boyo. Now, Flubby has not been having a good attack run so far. Dogman, excuse me, has been connecting with those hooks. And honestly, he's not working like in conjunction with DCOD. It looks like he's going for a very, you know, just lone wolf, lone hog style. Now, and he's got the whole hog to use, and so we'll see if they can try and shut him down. They're leaving him as just, honestly, open threat.
All right, Shadows, meanwhile on the right side, for a pick. Wub brings a blade. He's been the key here for Second Wind so many times. Picks up 2 here already. Gonna get a little bit more, 15 HP down, but damage has been done. Shadows back on the other side. Gonna pick up where he left off, and the point is blown clean. Second Wind gonna get it, but certainly in much more time than what it took LNL a little bit ago. Yeah,
Second Wind, they have to go for the Divine Wind fight plan there with Wub just giving up his life after getting a few eliminations with that Dragon Blade. And that's their MO. That's how they attack point. Hey, Wub builds up the blade, and then he just goes ahead and opens it up with that.
This is a fun bit of fact here, but Divine Wind is literally what Kamikaze translates into.
Yeah, there you go. Glad you caught on. But now, it's Shadows on the Widowmaker. He has to be the big playmaker here. We'll see if Wub can use, of course, the new Hanzo to try and get an initial pick here. Now, Dogman has since swapped off from that Roadhog. Take a look at the high ground. Sugar Free has to be careful. The Widowmaker was in that perch, but Sugar Free, he's got the Dragon. He's ready to let it go.
He's weighing on back, and of course, Dragon's more effective than not in this narrow part of King's Realm. Moopy, though, what a strike! Drops a hammer, knocks out 3, goes for more! What a way through for Second Wind. That's good enough. It's pretty decent.
Yeah, you got a little bit of an assist there from DCOD. You have to remember, if you're in the air and you get hit by a Ryan hammer, you get displaced quite a bit. And so that's why we saw, it looked like Moopy, right? It was like someone was holding up a sign, let Ryan lunge. And that's what he did midair, and then he got that shatter off.
Yeah, that was actually my favorite ongoing memes from OWL's entire, like, let Hero do this. And
listen to the community.
You know, look, we'll have it coming back next season where it'll be like, let Hammond, or let Roadhog Hammond. you just see him rolling over like, you know, a somewhat ass-shaped Sonic the Hedgehog. Gonna let go with the Dragon Strike, and immediately take down Lair off the side. Found him early on. No, gets a chance to come back up.
Ajax is able to bring Next back into this. And second win, they need to reset quickly. You have to understand, right now, LNL, they have a really big time bank, but instead they wrap around to the right-hand side. They want to continue this push, but they are down 2 members, and they're waiting for their respawns.
LNL is doing a decent job turning this into a more scrappy back-and-forth fight, and another Dragon Strike coming in from Sugar Free. Leaves Moopy without a hope, without a prayer, and I get that Widow v Hanzo, one-on-one on the other side. And Lair just goes, don't really want to deal with this anymore. I want other people to deal with you.
A very odd call coming out from second win in a situation in which they should have absolutely reset themselves. Wub is going to give himself on over as Sugar Free takes him out, and so that's going to stagger second win even more. And time is such a valuable resource here, especially with the time bank that LNL currently have up against second win. You cannot give up these resets.
At least, and the second win, as you mentioned, time is getting away from them. They spend a lot of time on point A, which means that their point B time, not much at all, only a minute 30.
Minute 30 left, and they have to do it in the face of Decon, who's got an Earth Shatter. Moopy doesn't have his quite yet. They need to be able to apply more pressure onto it, but the defense matrix from Next is expertly coming out.
Decon's in a good position to just drop the hammer here. Moopy has to be careful with how deep he goes. He ends up going back. The Dragon sets a stage. Lair might be down. The Earth Shatter comes in. I don't think the fall through is going to be there. Zen was already in Transcendent. Second win. Now with an opportunity, but it's Sugar Free on the other end. He flanked to the other side, got Wub, draws a lot of attention towards him. Meanwhile, who's on the payload? No one. Second win, struggling to get back in. And look at the amount of damage Moopy's taking. He's taking damage from the back, damage from the front. It doesn't even matter. And Sugar Free comes back the other way, and that's going to be a clean ending to the fight for LNL.
A very disjointed fight once again for second win there. Moopy goes for a solo shatter onto, I believe it was a transcending Dogman. And he's invulnerable, by the way, when he's golden and transcending. He's invulnerable to everything. I mean, you can charge him, but that's about the best you could do. Going for the Earth Shatter, it was a complete waste now. As we're down to 20 seconds, second wind, they have to rely upon now Wub with a Dragon Strike.
And maybe if Shadow's able to get pick up that help, but it's not a great sightline for it. And Sugar Free's Dragon gets some pose early in the fight. There's no more rezzing up for second win right now. Yes, they got a little bit of a better part early on, but now they need to dodge self-destruct. Next gave up his life for it, probably wasn't too worth. Second win. With the man advantage here on the point, Ajax is gonna end up falling, and we go now to point C.
So that Dragon Strike really did come in clutch for Wub, as early on in the fight they take out Decon, and of course a secondary kill coming in gives them the man advantage, even though they had lost some pose there. So now second wind, they've got 1 minute and 15 seconds there making some swaps. Janitor is now going over to that Zarya. They want the Rein-Zarya combination, as Next himself will go over to the Zarya. So we're gonna see a lot of Space Dragons. Wub though has now gone over to the Genji. With the help of Flubby, takes out Lair.
Minute left in a dream for second wind. Tick-tock. LNL only has to win 2 fights to hold them back here. Both Shadows pushing the issue right now. Gets another stagger. You see second wind going up even more. They're only leaving 1 back on the payload though, and this can come back to hurt them. They need more back.
44 seconds left on the clock. LNL, they can play this 2-way, win out the team fight, or get a headshot onto Ajax and take him out.
That is big. Ajax should have known better than the peak there. That was a rough decision by him. And you see LNL down 4, down 5. We're gonna be heading the extra rounds here. Second wind easily getting through. Shadows. Come on, wait. Guys. They finish off the last
there. There's a
see that there? They waited 2-1 to finish off the last person at the point. I mean, LNL's still probably not going to bring it back, but second win, that's an unforced error. They should have been able to finish that out a little bit earlier. And now they need time left on the clock. They need time. They need time. 3 seconds left.
Just a moment.
Oh, no.
There we go. They're going to be able to send it. 5.1 seconds. It's overtime. And second win now will not be able to get a secondary attack. It's all up to LNL. And that's what I was trying to talk about before Shadows or Wubs was able to take out the Mercy there. That LNL could play this fight in 2 ways. Win out the team fight or just delay long enough so that second wind is pushed into overtime.
They had the team fight they needed. They just weren't paying close attention to the payload and didn't see that it was still being contested for a moment. And they gave LNL enough room to end up staggering, draining the last bit of time. And as a result, the very best that second wind can do here now is a draw. They have no more opportunities to actually win the map. Whew. Problematic.
To say the least. And now there are problems continuing to mount now as LNL are on the verge, on the verge of taking a 2-map lead. All they need is a third here on point A, and that means that second wind, they just have to stay on the point. It completely changes how they have to run this defense now. They don't have the luxury of holding on to the high ground. As soon as anyone from LNL touches the point, second wind have to drop down.
I mean, also, just you take a look how a defense changes when essentially you have to defend 1/3. So you don't have that usual buffer of, we'll give them a little bit of positioning, maybe they get third, we fight it on back. It's like, no, you don't get all that. So very easy for it to go back the other way.
Yeah, you saw instantly second wind, they took a quick shot with the Widowmaker and then instantly went down onto the low ground here. Sugar Free is going to be on the Genji, and Lair is going to be, of course, on the Tracer. This full dive now coming up from LNL. Want to go for the quick execute onto second wind.
Sugar Free coming back the other way. And by the way, second wind, they need to consider staying on the point here. They've already given up a little bit for free. See Lair moving backhand side. Suppose is down. 2 picks here for LNL, and they're fine with the scrappy fight. So long as they trade out evenly, it's going to be theirs in the end. And they've done that enough here so far. Chaozo's still alive, and they're starting to bring it back the other way. It's not too bad, but respawns will be coming in for LNL here. Second wind needs to be dominant to bring this back.
Ajax getting in on things, and so they are going to be able to just leave them with 2 members on the point now. LNL still have plenty of time here, 1 minute and 43 seconds, and that did force Moopy to now go over to the Winston instead of playing that Orisa. And right now, Shadows, he's almost got that input sight up for his team, just 1 more shot away, and Wub almost has that Dragon Strike.
Shadows has to back off. There's a moment of blindness here. 4-second win. They're going to compensate with the infosight on the other end. LNL just jockeying for position. Wub gonna go get off my lawn, or at least my higher and second floor here in King's Row. And the Dragon Strike's good enough. It sets up Moopy for 2. And second win, fighting this back right now.
I call that the retired Newport retiree kind of grumpiness, right? Get off my patio instead. There as he forces him out. Now Wub brought them down to 1 minute, half-second wind, and they've got both support ultimates, so they might be able to weather the storm that comes out from LNL here. We'll see if Lair is able to get a crucial pick-off with this bomb. Moopy that takes out Ajax.
And Ajax goes down before getting Valkyrie. Dogman's already invested Transcendence. LNL, all hands are on deck. They go, we don't need Ajax. Well, gets blown up by Lair early on. This is very winnable for LNL. Now Ajax is going to be able to come back in the fight. Valk's on in. Valk support is back, and LNL has numerical edge, where all they need here is a third. We see Lair just jumping around, looking for a little bit of cleanup. Sugar Free's brought out the blade, and he slices on through. Supposed Wub out of there, and that's going to be enough. The point is captured by LNL, and they go up in the series 2-0.
LNL playing very well tonight. I'm liking the way they're looking. I'm liking toothpaste on hot dogs.
Yeah, they've picked up where they left off, where they were able to beat Legion in recent memory, and now they've been able to come back in and take second win the task. But I gotta say, second win could have done more here.
Yeah.
This was winnable, but then they do the entire thing where they don't fully make sure the payload is actually clear, and then they lose the last bit of time.
Because somehow, LNL were able to stall it out for an additional about 15 seconds there. Crucial 15 seconds, which completely changed the tides of what happens on point A. Without a secondary offense, without setting the goalposts, even further there, second win just really set themselves behind.
Yeah, that was interesting to see time running out there and actually allowing LNL to get on the payload and run down the clock. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, not in the least. And, I mean, look, second wind has had flashes of good points all in all. I mean, they did catch quite a bit of lightning in the bottle there towards the very end, but then they just have these small mistakes creep into their gameplay. It's like, oh, okay, that's still happening. And unfortunately for them, that was a very map-defining mistake because it cost them a 1-minute attack, which very frequently can be way more than that if you're able to get the first attack successfully and carry that on into a payload push.
All right, well, we are up 2-0. LNL is reigning supreme right now. The toothpaste on the hot dog is the favorite food of this series. We will be back with more Overwatch, and we will see if Second Wind gets their second wind.